Welcome to Reading with Bug, the short and sweet version. In this video series, you'll get to join me as I read and react to popular books. This time around, I'm diving into Fourth Ring by Rebecca Yarros. Hi guys, my name is Adriana, but my friends call me Bug. Full disclosure, I might be a little bit awkward the first few videos that I make just because I'm newer to this. I think that it's a little bit odd speaking to myself on camera, and I'm not well versed in practicing scripts or anything. More often than not, you're gonna see me kind of just winging it and seeing how it goes. For this video, I did write some stuff down so that way I can remember the points that I want to bring up. So anyways, without further ado, my name is Bug, and it's really nice to meet you guys. I've been a bookworm for as long as I can remember. Growing up, I was all about fantasy, starting with the Harry Potter series back when I was in elementary school, and recently I've been diving into more romantic genres. I have really enjoyed the romantasy books with Sarah J. Maas's ACOTAR, as well as From Blood and Ash by Jennifer Armentrout. For this new series, I've decided to read Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. It's been blowing up online with a lot of people comparing it to ACOTAR, and that was a series that really got me into reading again. So I figured it was worth checking out. So, full confession time. When the book first came out, I gave it a shot with the audiobook, but I just couldn't get into it. Maybe it was the narrator, or maybe it was the main character. It just wasn't something that wasn't clicking with me. Violet felt like she was a little bit too of a pick-me or too unique, and I guess it was just too much of a self-insert type vibe for the main character. I don't know. I just put it down, and basically I avoided the book series ever since. So recently I was thinking about what kind of content that I wanted to create on YouTube. After some back and forth, I realized that I missed reading fantasy books, and I missed sharing my opinion with others and discussing what I read. So I decided to give Fourth Wing another try. It's been compared to some series that I genuinely love, so maybe I was a little bit too quick to judge. So in this video series, I'll be reading the book and recording my reactions. Don't worry. It's not going to be me sitting in silence for hours as I read. I'll be editing clips of my real-time reactions as the plot unfolds, and at the end of each video, I'll give a little summary of my thoughts on what I've read so far. So yes, there's going to be spoilers, just to let you know. If you want to do a read by read with me, I would suggest reading the chapters that I read first before watching the videos. So Fourth Wing has about 39 chapters, plus 2 bonus chapters from the copy that I picked up from Walmart. So I'll be kicking things off with chapters 1 through 4 in this video. From there, I'll cover 5 chapters per video that I post, with the last video being a wrap-up of my final thoughts on the book, as well as the bonus chapters. So the series will have 9 or 10 videos, I'm thinking, and hopefully, if I can stick to a schedule, I'll be posting once a week. Anyways, thank you for listening to me as I introduce myself. I'm really excited to get started, but without further ado, let's get into it. Okay guys, so I figured before I got started, I would get nice and cozy. So I got myself some popcorn and a little drink. While I'm reading, I did get a paperback version because I hate messing up my hardcover books. So that way I can annotate whatever it's called as I go. I have different markers for different things that I think will happen in the book, or just different moments that I might want to like come back to. So there's things that I love. I don't know if that's going to focus enough, but I labeled them so I wouldn't forget. So this color is going to be for things that I love. There's going to be a color for things that frustrate me. Some spicier scenes I might like. Foreshadowing that might be available. Things that I just find icky or cringy. Because like that's just going to happen. And then things that I think are funny. So to be completely honest, whenever I was listening to the audiobook, I didn't even make it past the first chapter because the narrator's voice from the audiobook was just, it was too much for me. I could not stand the voice. So I stopped listening to it. And for about a year, I ignored the book on my shelf completely. Recently, I decided to pick it up again because I was bored and I saw something about it on TikTok. So I made it through maybe chapter 8 within the past few months. So the first video or so is going to be me just catching up to what I've read and giving reactions to what I might have forgotten about or things that I want to bring up. So anyways, let's get to it. Hi guys, good morning. I have been editing that first read-through video this morning and have realized that it is a little bit long. So I've decided that I'm going to do something a little bit different than what I initially thought. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making 2 different kinds of videos. I'm going to be making one video that has the complete read-through as well as the review and summary of my thoughts and feelings, and then I will be doing another video that just has the review and summary of my thoughts and feelings. This video is going to be the shorter version of that. That'll just have the intro as well as my summary and review, and then my other video will be posted as well. That'll be the full-length version. Okay guys, so I finished writing my notes on chapter 4, and now I'll give you a little summary of what I thought of chapters 1 through 4. I'm glad I wrote them down because my mind is starting to like kind of blur everything together. And I think this was actually a really good idea to write things down and highlight what I liked and didn't like. So with the first chapter, things that I really liked is I really like how the book has so much description and world building without it being overwhelming. I know that there are a lot of books out there that focus very hard on the world building, especially if it's the first in a series, and it can be really overwhelming and tough to deal with. With this series, I think that between plot, dialogue, and description, it's a really good mix of setting the scene, giving description to their surroundings, as well as adding some world building in without it being too overwhelming. I also am coming to really like Violet as a character. At first, I was unsure, especially whenever I was listening to the audiobook and her voice was so grating and agitating. So I'm glad that I decided to read it instead of listening to the audiobook. At first I thought that Violet would be just another I'm not like other girls kind of vibe in the book, that, you know, she's so weak and fragile and dainty and she had to be rescued and like saved all the time. And I can tell that she's not going to be like that early on in this book, because she's using her logic to her advantage. She had been training to be a scribe this entire time, which I think is going to come in very handy for her and make up for the fact that she is fragile. And she's also very relatable. I think that she is empathetic and kind to an extent from what I've seen so far, which is really nice to see. She's not really cutthroat or defensive. But she's smart enough to know that not everybody is going to be your friend. I think that she might still be a little bit too trusting with certain people, but that's just me having experiences before where somebody pretends to be your friend and then it turns out they're just going to stab you in the back to get what they want. I also really enjoy how she's witty and her sense of humor is great. She's anxious, but she's anxious, but she still stands her ground. Like whenever she's staring Xaden down several times already throughout the book, I really can appreciate the balance between her being scared out of her mind, but also being firm in what she believes and what she wants to do, to the point of being stubborn, but not stupid, not yet. I also really enjoy the sibling dynamic between Mira and Violet. One of the things that I really liked was the quote, "Don't die, Violet," because that seems like something a sibling would definitely say. I'm unsure, honestly, how her frailty is... I think that it's going to be a crutch that is used at certain points in the plot. I'm not sure how yet. I don't know if somehow I'm worried that she's magically going to become stronger overnight kind of deal. Like, you know how book characters will go through like rigorous training for like a whole 3 or 4 chapters, and then all of a sudden they know how to use every single weapon and they got muscles now. I'm worried about something like that happening. Or like having some magical potion make her all better. I'm a little bit worried about that, but I do like how it is different than the usual narrative of having a main character that already knows everything, knows how to fight or how to hunt or uses those skills to somehow be a super marksman after, you know, only training for a few months, like I said. I feel like it's a little bit more realistic having her start off with like maybe 6 months of training and still being kind of shitty at what she does. Yeah, so I'm really liking Violet so far, actually. She's not relatable in the sense, like, she doesn't look like me. She's not your average looking girl. Like, she's not like, oh yeah, I'm only like 5'2" and super frail, but also somehow I magically have giant boobs and a nice ass. She's not like that from what I can see, which is also refreshing. Let's see. I also, a lot of the foreshadowing that's going on, I don't know whether I just find it kind of predictable or if the foreshadowing isn't as subtle as it should be. One of the funny ones, I think that, like, I don't know, I think that this was just meant to happen. Maybe the writer intended for it to be kind of obvious, but whenever Dylan came into the scene, he's just a, you know, he's just a character. He's a side character. We know that from the moment he's introduced, but from the moment he's introduced, it is painfully obvious that he's gonna die, and he dies soon too. That was kind of a shock for me. Not a shock, but I was just like, oh, okay. Where is it? So the foreshadowing I thought was pretty obvious was when Dylan says, quote, "I'm not dying," Dylan says with way more confidence than I feel as he tugs a necklace from under his tunic. "She said it would be bad luck to propose before I left, so we're waiting until graduation." It just, the whole setup for this character was like, he's gonna die. And then he did. So R.I.P. Dylan. I hope that not every bit of foreshadowing is this painfully obvious. I think that was just maybe a slip in to make it kind of, I don't want to say funny because the guy died, but yeah. There are also some other points of foreshadowing that I can see that are not painfully obvious, but like as somebody who's read plenty of books before, it makes it obvious. There's another point. Yes. It's whenever Penchek is speaking to the cadets. He says, "If I have to get involved, you don't want me to get involved." He's gonna get involved at some point with whatever the hell Violet gets up to. But another funny part is, my best advice, don't die. I thought that was funny. I really enjoyed that. Okay. Skipping around a little bit. Oh, also, she was given advice at a certain point in time, don't make friends. Well, she's already made friends. And because of that, that's where I get the whole betrayal part from. Like, I think that she's going to be betrayed at some point in time, either by Dane, which would be really heartbreaking, or, oh, hey, no, or by Rhiannon, who seems to be her bestie for the restie at this point. This is Dory. Dory doesn't like it whenever I don't give him attention either, so he's standing right in front of my computer. Him and Willie like to compete for my affections. Poppy does whatever she wants. Things that I really didn't like going into this book or into this chapter, I don't understand why Violet's mother, I can't remember her name, I think it's Lillian. I don't understand why she would force her daughter to enlist in the military whenever her daughter is obviously extremely weak and frail. She gets sick often, she gets injured often. It doesn't make any sense to me for a parent to do something like that. I understand lineage, I understand honor. However, this woman has already lost one son. She's lost her husband, who Violet seems to be very much like. So what makes this woman go, okay, well, I'm going to force her to enlist in the military, where I think it was like only, I can't even remember the percentage, but only a small percentage of the recruits for Dragon Riders make it to their graduation. And then after that, Dragon Riders die young because dragons are dangerous. She also seems to have some affection for Violet, but obviously it's not enough to keep her daughter safe. There are also some parts where I feel that are borrowed from other recent books. Well, maybe not recent, but other books that I've seen or read. Like, the Dragon Riders remind me a lot of the Dauntless from the Divergent series. It's been a few years since that one has been out and popular, but by the way that the Dragon Riders dress, by the way that they act, and the different and the different quadrants that are in this book as well, kind of remind me of the different factions in that book. But definitely get the vibe of Dauntless from the Dragon Riders. Can both of you guys just like knock it off for 2 seconds? You go up here. Okay, sorry about that. Yep. Okay, so moving on to chapter 2. In chapter 2, Jack Barlow is a psychopath. What is going on with that? Why did the author decide to put such a strongly dislikable character in there right away? Why did she give Violet such an animus villainy, bad guy, arch enemy right away? I don't know. But anyways, he's just a psychopath. He's crazy. Like, why does he just want to kill her right away? What has she ever done to him? Like, I get the point of, like, weeding out the weakest link, and, you know, the fact that her mother is an important person and they want to prove a point, and she's so frail. Frail. But what is this guy's problem? Seriously. Chapter 2 is tense. Willie, please. Thank you. Chapter 2 is tense because she is crossing the bridge between, I forgot what they're called, but she's crossing that narrow bridge, and it's tense, but it's enjoyable. It doesn't last too long, which is nice. Sometimes trials like this can be drug out. I feel like this one was wrapped up in just enough time. It was getting a little bit too long in the description, honestly, but she crossed, she made it fine. It was great. I really enjoyed the part where they finally finished, and then she turned around and her knife was suddenly at his balls. And then the guy makes a funny comment. What does the comment say? It's towards the end of chapter 2. Cadet Soaringdale has you by the actual balls here. I thought that was pretty funny. And you're going to have Jack here start as a eunuch. That was kind of funny. I honestly feel like she should have done it. Taught that guy a fucking lesson, because, again, he's a psychopath. What's his problem? Like, right away getting onto her, and even going up the stairs, he was talking shit the entire time. Whenever it came to chapter 3, oh my god, Dane is here, my bestie, my crush, my childhood sweetheart. I like how flirty Violet gets with him, how she mentioned before that she had gotten close to him and was thinking about it becoming something more with him. And I feel like they would be a cute couple. We obviously know that it's not going to work out. I've been lucky enough not to cross too much spoilers, but at the moment she saw Zane in the book, it was obvious. Not Zane, that's another one. Xaden in this book, it was clearly obvious which one she was gonna go for. It's like the whole, I don't know, it might end up like the whole Peeta versus Gale thing. Like Katniss ended up with Peeta, the soft one, anyways, but I don't think it's gonna go like that. So speaking of the, okay, So I also really enjoy how Violet, when she sees an attractive man, she lets us know. And I love that about her. She's like, this guy's hot. Oh, you know, childhood sweetheart, he's really turned into a gorgeous motherfucker too. Can I say that? I'm gonna probably edit that out. I'll bleep it out. Anyways, so I love her attention to detail whenever she's describing hot dudes. A good line that was in there was whenever she was describing Xaden. Where are you? There you are. Flaming hot, scorching hot, gets you in trouble and you like it level of hot. Suddenly I can't remember exactly why Mira told me not to fuck around outside of my year group. Love that. And then whenever she's describing her old buddy Dane, she says something about him. Dane Atos went from attractive and cute to gorgeous. Anyway, I feel like that would be me. If I was surrounded by hot dudes, that would be the narration going on in my head, is just being like, wow. Another YouTube ad. I'm just gonna pause this. Okay. So speaking of details, I do like the detail in the description of the scenes and the surroundings in the book. I think that it really paints a picture in my head as to where they're at, what they're doing, what their surroundings look like, so that way I can get a good visual of what's going on. It really pulls me into what I am reading without being too much. I've read books that go on and on about like details, and then some that don't give any details at all. I wouldn't say that I'd rather have a book with little details, but sometimes like too many descriptions can get a little bit boring, and I find myself skipping around in the book a lot. So with this one, it has a nice balance of description, scenery, commentary, what's the word for it? Dialogue. I really like how it balances that out. And then whenever it comes to Dane stepping in, I appreciate that Dane doesn't want Violet to die. That is really admirable of him, and that he actively tries to find ways to get her out of this situation. However, once he understands that her mother wouldn't allow her to withdraw, even if she truly wanted to, or if she found a way to escape, she says basically that her mother would drag her back by the hair to the writer's quadrant. He should maybe back off on being so intense about it, because if she were to be dragged back by her mother, not only would it be humiliating in the sense of like your mom is dragging you basically by the ear to this place, but it also is showing that she's a coward, that she tried to run away, even though she's past the point of no return. If she wanted to run away, she would have done it. I think that she is intelligent enough to know that there would be ways for her to get out of the situation. Not like arguing with her mother, but like, hey, she could have changed her name and skipped town if she really wanted out of it. But she had to do what she had to do. There was no getting out of it. And now she's stuck with it. So she knows the odds. She knows what happens. She's a very intelligent woman. And Dane needs to see past his need to protect her and realize that she can handle herself. It's a dangerous situation. She knows the odds, like I said. But I think that other than, you know, main character plot armor, I think that she would stand a chance. She just has to find ways to get past the people that are physically stronger than her. Like, she's very smart. She's very intelligent. She says that she's very fast and agile. She could use that to her advantage over people like Jack Barlow, who are just brutes. Let's see. And then just to wrap it up, I think Xaden is cool, I'm not gonna lie. Tall, dark, and handsome. He is brutal with his idealistic, not like idealistic, I'm sorry, his ideas and logic. He's very straightforward to the point. He doesn't take any BS. I don't know. He's very, I don't know, he seems like a good, tall, dark, handsome, brooding, strict kind of love interest. I bet he's like secretly a big old softie, like on the inside though. But we'll see. I know he wants to kill her, but I have a weakness for men that want to kill the love interest first thing. Like Rowan, love him, but you know, Aelin right away, thought that was great. I don't know, I kind of really enjoy it whenever it starts off as like enemies to lovers. Yeah, I have a weakness for enemies to lovers. But anyways, that wraps up my summary for the first 4 chapters. If you've stuck around this long, I very much appreciate it. Please let me know what you think, what I can do differently, what you want me to keep up, what you like, what you don't like, so that way I can change my video to be more personable or more enjoyable to everybody. But I really enjoyed making this video. I have a love for reading, like I said at the beginning, and this has gotten me more passionate than I've been in a long time about books. I think that it'll get me more involved in reading, in perceiving what I'm reading, digesting it, and kind of seeing more than what's on the surface. I don't know how many of you know this yet, because I know some of you watching are friends and family of mine. But I am going to school right now to get my bachelor's in literature and English, and one of the things that I would really like to do is I would like to help authors edit and publish their writing. So I feel like doing this, even if it's just like an exercise that gets a few views, I believe that this will help me in the long run with my goals. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. As I said, if you made it this far, it is very much appreciated. Like, comment, and subscribe. I will try and post one of these videos at least once a week. I'm thinking on Sundays, so that way I can keep it kind of normal and keep it going. Also, there are 3 things I need. If somebody could be so kind as to send me fan art that does not have any spoilers so I can get visuals in my head about what these characters look like, that would be wonderful. I have been doing so good about avoiding spoilers so far. Also, if anybody would have any pronunciation guides to some of the things in this book. It's a little bit hard for me to pronounce, and I feel kind of silly whenever I read it out loud and I don't know how to pronounce it. And then lastly, if anybody has like a chart on how like the division of each like squadron or whatever is made out, that would be cool. I think I'm going to make one myself if I can't find one. Anyways, thank you for watching my first review video. Have a great day, guys.